up, everybody, and welcome to a brand new episode of the LocoCast. I am your host, Elijah, aka Loco Lizardman, and today we're going to be talking about my Onimusha review, Onimusha Warlords. Specifically, I played the PS4 remaster, and my personal 2025 hobby goals. And, since the podcast is getting back on track, maybe some future goals I have for content creation. First, let's talk about Onimusha Warlords. Like I said, I played the PS4 remaster. Onimusha originally came out on the PS2 and got almost like a definitive version that released on the Xbox called Genma Onimusha, and then later got the remaster that I played on current gen, last gen console, PlayStation 4, Xbox, Steam. So Onimusha, let me start by reading my blurb. The game is a classic for a reason. The art design is fantastic, and I love the way each weapon felt different to handle. Unfortunately, you can feel its age in the gameplay, even in the remastered version I played. Blocking was sometimes off for me, and locking on was almost a joke. Bosses also had very predictable attack patterns sometimes, so much so that the final boss didn't even hit me. Overall, a game well worth playing, but no going into it that it feels its age. I can't wait to see how the second one improved on the formula. So, let me start with, I gave it a 4 out of 5. What I didn't talk about, and I should, I just gave one little line about it. I'm still getting used to doing these review blurbs. I absolutely love and adore the art design and game direction. I love so much about this game's aesthetic, how it looks, how it acts. I loved it. And it's what kept me going through the lesser times. Now, when I say lesser times, like I said, the combat overall was... Blocking kind of sucked, because half the time I tried to block, my character would, turn as I did it. Or, I would lock onto an enemy, but locking onto the enemy, all the enemy had to do was move, and the lock-on, basically just canceled. It was really weird. But because of that, the actual gameplay was not great. You could feel its age. I did hear today that there are a lot of quality of life improvements in the second one. I'm excited. I'll be getting that soon. But overall, it is a game worth playing. It is a little on the short side. I think I beat it in just under 4 hours. But also, I played most of the game before. I just never finished it. It turned out I was literally 30 minutes from the end when I had stopped. Go me. So it helped that I kind of knew going into it where I was supposed to go and what I was supposed to do for the most part. But it is a game worth playing, kind of spurred on by the fact that they announced a new Onimusha game for 2026. We'll see if it hits it. I think it is worth playing. Just know going in, it kind of feels it. I also want to give a shout out here. There's a lot of Onimusha love going on around right now. I started playing this, and the day after I started playing, a friend announced that he is doing a podcast episode on Onimusha Warlords. So if you are listening to this and you don't follow his work already, do me a favor and go follow Retro Blast Podcast and get ready. He has an Onimusha episode coming out with another good friend, and he does incredible work and deep dives into retro games. He does such good work, and the way he does it, you can go back and listen to all his episodes, and they all feel fresh and new. So do me a favor, go follow Retro Blast, give a listen. He's going to have Onimusha out soon, and it's just Onimusha time right now, apparently. It's awesome. Now, a little housekeeping before we start the goal list, we'll say. If you enjoy this podcast, the best thing you can do is share it and or just give it a review. Whatever service you're listening on, they most likely offer for you to review. That is a huge help because it gets people to notice the podcast. That's awesome. And if you want to support it even further, you can head over to my Twitch channel where I stream every Friday, Saturday, and right now Sundays are a little hazy because of football, but that is coming to an end. Sunday's going to be a lot more regular again. But you can come over to twitch.tv/LocoLizardman and drop a sub if you want to support a little extra. And remember, if you have Amazon Prime, you get a free sub every month they don't tell you about that you can use. So you can help support me at no extra cost, which is awesome. Now, let's get to the goal list. This is something I was trying to think of, what can I do to get further in where I want to go in my hobbies and explore things I've wanted to explore without feeling like I'm making myself do it. And I think I found a nice little mix. So let me start with the two non-gaming related ones. Books. I love reading. I don't do it enough. I want to read at least 10 pages a day. I need to get caught up for today right now, but I'm doing really good on that. And by the time I fall asleep tonight, I will be over 130 pages into Alan Wake. Yes, the book based on the game. So far, that's going well. Also, in my movie goal, I want to watch a new movie each week. What I mean by that is a new to me movie. It doesn't have to be a new movie, but new to me. So, we're coming up to the end of week 2. Week 1 was Baby Driver, a very fun film. Week 2, Interstellar, great film. And I have my week 3 movie picked out already. Hitman Agent 47. I'm excited and terrified. But so far, both of those goals are going great. Now on to the probably more interesting, given the topic for this podcast, my gaming goals of the year. Let's start with, I want to play 24 retro games that I've never played before. Let me specify that. Ones that I've never played, or at least never beaten. I may have I've dabbled in some of them, but I've never beaten them. Here is the list. Fatal Frame, Fatal Frame 2, Fatal Frame 3. I've played and beaten 4 and 5 and loved them, so it's time I go back and play the original 3. Hitman 2, Silent Assassin, Hitman Blood Money, and Hitman Contracts. I love the new Hitman games. So I figured it was time I go back and play the originals. I should. Why not, right? So I have now, I will say I started Hitman 2, Silent Assassin. In fact, I am on mission 3 currently. And I did some timeline reading about how, first off, the first game, Hitman Agent 47, just on PC, and from what I had heard, it definitely shows its age. I will specify the 3 Hitman games I'm playing are the PS3 remasters of the PS2 games. And I did some reading that Contracts is basically a fever dream that he has, which is why a number of missions from the first game are in it as a remake. and it's mixed in with some new stuff. So if I really want to follow the timeline, which I do because I'm a nerd like that, I will be playing Hitman 2 Silent Assassin, then start Hitman Blood Money. At some point, he's going to get shot. I didn't read any more than that. Just like, they did a very good spoiler free. At some point, he gets shot. In between that mission and the next mission is Hitman Contracts, which is, like I said, basically a fever dream he has while he's recovering from the bullet. And that was awesome because, like I said, it didn't spoil anything for me in Blood Money because, spoiler alert, he gets shot. There's no way this character's gonna go through entire game without being shot. So like, I didn't mind reading that. Killzone, yes, the original one. I dabbled in it on PS2, but I played maybe about half of it on PS3 is my guess. It's been a very long time, but never finished it. And I love Killzone 2, 3, and Shadowfall. Shadowfall, we don't like to talk about it, but it played great, and the multiplayer was fun. Killzone 3 is one of my favorite platinums I have, because I adore that game. So I'm excited to play through in the entirety the original Killzone. And then we have Lost Planet 2 and 3. People might argue if these are retro or not, because they are PS3. I consider PS3 retro at this point. Just going to put that out there. I fully consider PS3 and 360 retro because they're not actively, like, you can't actively get the consoles and games from a store. You can't go to Walmart and pick up a new PS3 game, you know. So I consider them retro. Obscure and Obscure the Aftermath, the PS2 horror games. Honestly, I don't know much about them, but when I was looking at what games I want to play, I'm like, horror games? Yes, okay. Onimusha, which, like I said, I've now beaten, is my first game beaten this year. Onimusha 2. Onimusha 3, which, Onimusha 3, it's astounding I've never played because it has one of my favorite actors in it. And Onimusha 4. The fun thing about Onimusha 4 is I actually have the movie, which is a lot of cutscenes from the game, like all the cutscenes put together, along with some new content that wasn't in the game. So I'm going to play through the game and then watch the movie, that way I can get the new content also to add into it. Parasite Eve, which I am currently playing. For people who know, without spoiling anything for anybody who hasn't played or that, I'm just starting day 5. That's all I'll say. Which I've gotten to before. I've gotten to day 5 before. But I've never beaten it. Let's just say I got too close to the beginning of disc 2. I just got a little bit into it when that was the last I had gotten to. Then, of course, Parasite Eve 2. And adding to that, the third birthday. Because I want to play through the series, and in fact, you know how I mentioned I want to read 10 pages a day? I have Parasite Eve loaded up on my Kindle, ready for me. It's going to be the third book I read this year. Then we also have Silent Hill Origins and Silent Hill Shattered Memories. 2 more games I've never played. I've had them for a while. I've never played them. And I enjoy Silent Hill. I just, for some reason, have never played them. So, we are changing that. Then we have Sonic Adventure 2, which is another one that I have started. And I did the hero storyline, and I'm currently on the dark storyline, Mission 4. Yes, Mission 4. I'm trying to say these things without being spoilers. So, next up we have Star Fox Assault for the GameCube. I've wanted to play that for a while. I've had it on my shelf for a while. I just never have. So you know what? We're doing it. Plus, I've heard it's very good. And the last two for on the list, The Suffering and The Suffering Ties That Bind. I don't know anything about those, just that they are horror games. And in fact, one of the reasons I chose them to play is at one point, Guillermo del Toro was in talks to make a movie based on The Suffering. It just never came to fruition. Now, that is the first goal. But also, I reserve the right to kind of put that goal in with another goal I have. So what I might do is I might take a few games out of there, because the next goal I have, play every Yakuza game that I haven't yet. And the reason I say to add them together is I'm currently in Yakuza 2, or say Yakuza Kiwami 2. That one doesn't count because it was made for PS4. And to give you an idea, for those who have played that, for where I'm at, I'm currently in Chapter 5. Now, the reason I say I reserve the right to make it part of my other one, Yakuza 3, 4, and 5. I have the Yakuza Remastered Collection. Originally PS3 games. I think they were all PS3. I believe. I think I have 3 and 4 on PS3. But originally PS3 games. They are remastered, but this is why I'm like, I reserve the right to take out 3 of the retro games I have chosen to put these in, have them count towards both. Actually, I have the I could do 4, because also Yakuza Dead Souls I have to play, which is amazing I have that, because that is worth a ton. Right? I think last I saw it was like $93. I'm so happy I have it. So that's another one. I might, depending on how things go, take out 4 of the the other retro games I'm looking at and have them count towards it, because adding all this up, this is a lot of game. And I did throw a lot at myself this year, so we'll see. I'm not saying I'm going to, but I reserve the right to do that if I'm kind of burning myself out, if that makes sense. But then I also have, in fact, just arrived the other day, Like a Dragon Ishin, which I haven't played yet. Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, which I haven't played yet. And the only one I don't have currently that I'll need to get eventually is Like a Dragon, The Man Who Erased His Name. I have played 0. Like 0 was the first one I played. Thank you again, Sega, for sending me the code for that to review. The review doesn't exist anymore, and I'm so sad, because it's, I think, one of the greatest works I've ever done, if not the greatest. I've played Yakuza Kiwami. I have played 6, and I have played Like a Dragon. So I want to play all of the Yakuza games. Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii looks incredible. I love you, Majima. That's kind of what spurred this all on. I'm like, I need to play these other games. My next goal is another one I am partially in right now. I'm finally digging down. I have never beaten Skyrim. So I made the goal. I'm going to platinum Skyrim. Now, when I say platinum, Skyrim has DLCs also. I'm going for the DLC as well. I say platinum, but I really mean 100% trophies. I should really change it to 100% trophy completion. Because my 4th goal is to 100% trophy completion for Fallout New Vegas. I don't know why. I guess I'm just in a Bethesda mood this year. I have only ever dabbled. I have 1 trophy in it. And I genuinely don't even remember how the game started. I don't remember anything about that game. And really, the last goal isn't one that I can say. I'm sorry, my throat is scratchy tonight. Isn't one I can really say is quantifiable. It's just more indies. I want to play more indie games. So I'm keeping an eye out for more. I want to play ones that I haven't played before. Ones that are out already that people say are amazing and I really need to jump into. I want to play more indies. Because indies are amazing and deserve so much more time and recognition. In fact, a number of my top 10 list for last year were indies. Those are my 2025 goals. But, I have goals beyond that as well. Like I said, I'm feeling so much more motivated in life. And with that is content creation. I love creating stuff. I love talking about games. I love sharing games with people. Whether they end up liking them or not, that's for them to decide. But I love sharing games. I love just the world of games. I think it's amazing. There's so much creativity. And like I have said before, whether 50 people listen or nobody listens, I love that I'm doing this. I love the effort I'm putting in. I love the creativity I'm putting in I made the theme song for this, and then I made the songs I used for my stream intro and outro. The logos. I made a media kit finally. I have a new way of doing game reviews that I've never done before with a nice graphic. I just have such a passion for it, and I never lost that passion. Like, I know there was a big gap last year where I just stopped, and it's not that I ever lost the passion. It's I lost the drive, and it wasn't because of content creation. It was because of other things in life. But I lost that drive. And it's back, and it feels great, and I love it, and I love doing this. So, I do have goals. And I'm not saying I'm going to hit them. But I am saying I will try my hardest too. So, let's talk about some of my goals. The biggest one is just keep creating. Like I said, I love doing it, and I want to find ways to keep doing it. Streaming, I want to take more seriously. Podcasts, take more seriously. They could go somewhere, they could go nowhere, and that's okay. Because the important thing to me is I love doing it. And the even more important thing, even if it's just one person that loves what I do, then it's all worth it. So I'll just say now, before anything else, if you consume my content, if it is the podcast or the stream or whatever, and you enjoy it, thank you. That is the biggest thing you could give me, is just enjoying what I do. So I'm going to start right there by saying thank you. Now, my next goal for the show, and let me just say for sure, these goals for content creating are not 2025 exclusive. They're just future exclusive. My next one is more shows. And what I mean by that is I would like to at some point expand into doing right now you can get the podcast on my YouTube channel, but I'd like to start doing more content for the YouTube channel even. I have the stream, the podcast, and maybe some certain Let's Plays or specific types of videos, specific types of podcasts to throw in. Just look at some of my inspirations, like Kinda Funny. Kinda Funny does so many different types of podcasts, and I love that. Because it lets them explore this whole world of hobbies and interests, and I think that's awesome. And I'd love to expand into maybe do 2 podcasts a week. Right now, I'm not going to say the podcast will be weekly, and I'm not going to say it will be bi-weekly. So the goal is to, no matter what, let me put it this way, no matter what, you're getting a podcast once every 2 weeks. I would like to get to a point where I am comfortable enough in life, let me put it that way, to where I can do one every week. Now, it's not that like there's a whole lot stopping me from doing one every week right now, but just, a lot going on right now. I'd like to get to a point where I can easily do one a week. That is very possible, doable, and very probable that will happen. So that's an awesome goal. But I just want to do more stuff. I want to get more out there. And if people watch, awesome. If not, awesome. Essentially, I'm doing it for me and for the people who do end up liking it. And that is one of the best things I can say is I don't want to sound selfish, but I'm doing it for me, which is something I need to do. Because if I'm doing it for me, it means it's because I love doing it. And that helps a lot. The biggest thing I want to start doing is I want to collab more. Soon, you're going to get a podcast with me and my friend Game.Film, where we are going to break down the first Resident Evil movie. I'm very excited. We don't have a date or anything for it, but we're talking, it is going to happen. So that is one I can tell you for sure. And I can tell you pretty sure that's not going to be the only show that we're going to collab on. But I'd like to collab with other friends of mine. My friend Paul, Pat, Paul, who's a game musician, Pat with Retroblast. These are people, I'm not saying they have to or anything, and I'm not saying it's going to, but I would love to sometime. Because these are friends that I love their content, but even more than that, they inspire me to keep going, and they inspire me to do what I love doing. They inspire me to do this. The biggest collabs I could ever hope to accomplish, and I'm just gonna put it out there, I doubt it'll ever happen, but I would love to, are my two biggest big inspirations. I'll put it that way. In the world of podcasts, Kinda Funny. I love Kinda Funny stuff. I think it's amazing. Or Giant Bomb. Or, someone from Giant Bomb. Something like that. These are the people that made me realize I love podcasting. And I love doing this. And made me want to do it in the first place. And I would love to do something with anybody from those channels. Because just, it would be a huge honor to. And in the world of streaming, and now podcasting, I listen to her podcast. I love Pokimane. I think she's wonderful. I think she's awesome. And she made me fall in love with the act of streaming again. And that meant so much more than I ever thought it would. Because at one point, I was thinking of giving up streaming. Just because my heart wasn't in it. And it felt lost for me. Like, it just didn't feel good. But honestly, she helped turn that around and helped me fall in love with streaming again. And now my passion for it is stronger than it ever has been. Literally ever. I would love to collab with Pokimane on a stream, on a podcast, or something. That would just be... I'm the kind of person you could get a cameo from Pokimane for my birthday and I would freak out. I love her. I think she's incredible. One day I would love to work with her on something, even if it's just a one-off, I don't know, Marvel rival stream or something like that. I would just love to do something with Pokimane. That would be amazing. Those are the goals I have for me and for the show for 2025 and beyond. I think the gaming goals are very achievable. The movie goal, even more achievable. The book goal, I might struggle a little, I'm not going to lie, but also achievable. Most of the podcast goals, I'm going to say half achievable, half fever dream. But I'm never going to stop trying to reach those dreams. And like I said before, just if you listen or consume my content anyway, whether it be stream, podcast, checking out my reviews on social media, whatever, I just want to say thank you. Because it means a lot to me that somebody is taking the time out of their day to listen to me yap about these hobbies I love and adore. I will be back soon with a new episode of the podcast. I'm hoping to have another game beaten by next week to give you another review. This is the first time I'm kind of doing not written reviews, but like review blurbs and that. And I'm going to get better at it as I go. So it's only up from here. Thanks everyone for listening. Remember, check out Retro Blast Podcast for an Onimusha episode coming soon and all of the past episodes. And I will be back soon. Until next time, good night, listener. Good night.